Let's try this again. Okay. Hi, everyone, again. We're going to start this again. This is Carrie Ann Conversations, Journey to Wellness with Fran Drescher, Part 2. We got disconnected. Here we go. So I'm going to invite Fran in now, and we're going to continue the conversation that we were having, detoxing your home. She was talking about, first of all, watch what you put in your body.
All right.
Hi.
Wow, that was scary. Thank God I'm not here alone, or I never would have found you.
We would have figured it out somehow.
All right.
Driven over to your house and I would have found you somehow. Okay. So we were discussing, you were talking about watching what you put in your body, on your body, and what's around your body, and detoxing.
Yeah, I think I was about to say that what would be great is if our elected officials decided to take the farm bill, which supports industrial farms, and help those farmers convert to organic, sustainable, regenerative farms. That's where we need to head.
What is
anything?
What is that? I've never.
Regenerative is learning of, the current way of industrial farming. It just strips the land of all of its natural nutrients. That's why when we eat spinach, it doesn't have anywhere near the iron that it had when Popeye was eating it. And they just keep putting on these chemical fertilizers, which is high in acid and chemicals, obviously. And it just isn't working with the earth and the natural order of things. All the pesticides kill all of the life that's in the soil. And that also helps feed the plants to make them nutrient rich. To eat food that isn't nutrient rich because of the compromised way that it's being farmed has to end, because that's also lowering the quality of health of Americans in this country. We basically have to get out of industrial farming and get out of the chemical business, agrochemicals, and antibiotics. Big pharma's in on the game too. Everybody's, on the gravy train except for the consumer, whose health and well-being is eroding constantly. And, we're being so dumbed down, we don't even realize that it's happening. And we don't even realize that normalizing all of this dis-ease, all these people that are getting cancer and inflammatory conditions and autoimmune conditions, and the list just goes, rare things, and young people are getting what used to be older people. So all of it is environmentally stimulated. And
what? Did you press mute?
Peter and Barbara, that I'm in an interview. I'm getting close. Peter, my gay ex-husband, we talk constantly, but, he's tried to text me a few times already, or FaceTime. He loves to FaceTime. And that was my assistant from...
I want to ask you quick about that, because that's a lot of information. And so people that are trying to be healthy and eating healthy, like eating spinach and eating vegetables and nuts and all the things that they, if you read the first level, that's what we're supposed to be doing. But you're telling us we have to even go further, right? Is to understand.
Oh, much further. It is so pervasive. I can't even tell you. Even I'm still discovering, toxins that are within my home. I mean, synthetic fabrics are constantly off-gassing. American women's breast milk has the highest percentage of flame retardant in it. That's in our clothes, it's in our upholstered furniture, it's in the drapes, and it's it's doing us harm. But when we talk about what are you putting in your mouth, it's all of the food and beverages
Right.
have to be really organic or biodynamic, which takes it even to the next level because it's not only not putting chemicals on the food, it's not GMO, but it's also regenerating the quality of the soil when you're a biodynamic farmer, and then all your personal care items, and that includes your oral hygiene. If
Yeah.
you're still using a toothpaste that says on the back, "Do not swallow" or "call poison control," you gotta walk away from that toothpaste. I mean, it's like, how counterintuitive is that? I'm brushing my teeth every day. The gums are the gateway to so much disease in the body. And they're saying that it has chemicals in it that are toxic. Excuse me, but you can't use that. It has to always just be ingredients that might have grown in your grandma's garden. And you have to have very good oral hygiene. I mean, Peter makes fun of me because I'm constantly flossing, water picking, and brushing. And I use a toothpaste that actually has prebiotics in it to help support the microbiome in my mouth. We have to start thinking about that and realizing that the mouth is connected to the whole body. It's not a separate anomaly like Western medicine, put dentists in a separate category from other doctors that deal with different organs in the body. The mouth is the beginning of your digestive system. It's the gateway to disease, and the teeth. I discourage people from getting root canals, and so many people do. But to me, it seems very antiquated and again counterintuitive because the teeth have trillions of tiny microscopic holes in it that is, when the tooth is alive, part of the tooth's natural filtration system. But when the tooth is dead and it's sitting in there just anchored with some kind of cement that anchors it into the root that they take out the space where the root was, all those holes are just attracting all kinds of problems for you. And each tooth connects to a different organ, a different meridian. And when you get something wrong with you, whether it be in your breast or your thyroid or your lung or your heart, odds are that specialist is not going to look in your mouth unless it's a functional medical doctor who will immediately look in your mouth. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, it's like people, I think it sounds to me, I mean, I can just tell you've learned so much on your journey. I mean, 21 years ago, right? You had uterine cancer and now you're 21 years cancer free.
thank you.
You obviously put so much work and effort into figuring how to live a life where that would not happen, and also spend so much time educating everybody else on how to live a life where something like that would never happen to them. Have you noticed, because for me in my own personal journey with autoimmune, the more I dig deeper into trying to be healthier, the more I realize I have to do. Like people need to realize that wellness is work. Like just like if you want to build a career, if you want to build a healthy, beautiful life and take care of this incredible
daily practice.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a daily practice. But we're just not taught to do that.
Right.
We live in a society that's basically a throwaway society, an abusive society, and it all goes under the banner of modern and convenient. And that is the biggest lie that has ever been told Americans, because there's nothing modern or convenient about destroying the planet and destroying your health. And we have to start thinking that way and just, turning our backs on all the things that are ruining it for everyone. I mean, really, humans function like a cancer. They don't want to die, yet they destroy their host, which is our earth. What sense does that make? There's something wrong with our species. And I was watching the Olympics, And I was watching that Nathan Chen dancing so beautifully on the ice, and he won the gold medal. And I thought to myself, our species is capable of doing that, dancing like that and moving like that on ice, and also to music that our species created. We have a capability of being so magnificent and so special. But then there's this dark side where our brain can invent things, but we lack the ability to look down the road and see how this is going to impact the planet and at least 7 generations moving forward. And that's a deficiency in where we've evolved to. We can problem solve, but then we don't have the brain capacity, or we haven't been educated to have the brain capacity to think, okay, now wait a minute, is this actually a good thing? I know it may solve one problem, but does it produce 3 others? And even Einstein said, for every step we take forward, we actually take 3 back.
Yeah.
You know.
The journey to wellness is this upward, downward, and it's like backwards, forwards, and it's a process. And I think the one thing that I've learned, like I've been working with Dr. Amen, who was at your health summit. It was so great to see him there. And
wonderful doctor. And he really connects the dots.
Because he was reminding me, as you were saying, as that I think everybody that I speak to in wellness is saying, is that it's all one. It's not compartmentalized. We tend to think of things as small little compartments just because it's easier. It's easier to think of it as a little thing that doesn't affect. But what's so amazing about the body, not only is it all connected, but it also, just like you were talking about, this human spirit that we have that can create music, that can dance, that can do all these beautiful things, art, solve problems. We can also heal ourselves. So for people that are watching that might be in a state of dis-ease, as you mentioned earlier, what's some basic things that they can do that's attainable for them? Because those are the people we want to help the most, so that they get inspired and help each other.
Well, personally for me, I think that a very big thing is supporting your immune system. And what goes with that is detoxing your home. But if you are going to not deal with your inner pain, if you're not going to put forgiveness in your heart against people that have hurt you or wronged you, or against yourself, then it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to slowly poison yourself with inner pain and the poison that creates in your body. So when we talk about mind, body, and spirit balance, it's very important that we start to not compartmentalize. It's not just about, shopping differently, losing weight, quitting smoking. All of that is very important. But you also have to develop a spirituality. And you have to get out of your head and get into the moment. And sometimes we ruminate in our head. We replay arguments or conversations, or we are anticipating. We're in our head in the future with something that hasn't even happened yet. And when you discover that, you realize, oh my God, how long have I been sitting here doing this? Then you have to look around the room that you're in with the wide-eyed wonder of a child, and look at things, the mundane that you see every day and you no longer even notice, or the details of a corner between the ceiling and the wall, and see what it looks like. And then you're in the moment again. And you may have to do that several times a day, or even more, until you get into the habit of making your life a constant meditation, where you're constantly bringing yourself back into the now. Because when you do that, your body is able to be more balanced. The brain is a very intrusive roommate in this house.
Yes, it is.
And it thinks that it's the most important part, when actually they're all important. You know, you'd be in trouble without your liver, your kidney, your heart. Everyone's important. Everything has its own consciousness. And most of the time, what you think is not true. And it's being, filtered through a lens of your personal life story,
Right. Which is
which is
often
not really, huh?
because that's sometimes that life story also that you're filtering through is not even your own. It's like your parents or society, all
Absolutely. The
other.
whole point of the journey of trying to be Zen
Mhm.
is to detach from that story and just be an observer of this beautiful planet, to make kindness and compassion your compass, to realize that every living thing is you,
Yeah.
and we're all one and the same. You know, I don't use pesticides in my house. And so periodically I get these little bursts of bugs. And, ants are a fascinating civilization.
I love ants. I watch them all the time. Do you watch them carry their dead back home? They make, and then if somebody's sick, they all gather around it like a prayer circle and they vibrate. It's amazing.
And they come to each other, they talk to each other, and then they'll either both go in the same direction, or they'll meet, they'll greet, they'll maybe exchange information, and then they'll go in opposite directions as they were back on their course. And they're surprisingly, they're meat eaters. They eat meat. They're obviously eating microscopic, much smaller bugs.
Mm-hmm.
But if I leave, like the packaging for chicken or anything in my sink, they're going to smell it, and they're going to want to eat that. But my dog has a kibble that's wild salmon. They're not interested in fish, only meat. And it's so fascinating because you don't really think of, and they need water.
Yes, they do.
So they're always, everything on this planet, this is a water planet. We all need water. We should protect the water and respect the fact that all life on this planet is interconnected and has a purpose. When I go to Africa on safari, I can't
Mm-hmm.
believe how clean the landscape is. You hardly ever see any kind of defecation from the animals. You rarely see a dead animal. And that's because there's this wonderful ecosystem of life
Mm-hmm.
that eats it, eats the bones, eats it all, everything.
Yeah.
And that's why they exist.
Right. Yeah. In many cultures besides American culture, you can see the natural cycle of life happening, right? It's much more present. Here, we're so far removed from it, right? It's just,
Yeah.
we live this life of what we think is luxury, and it feels good and it feels convenient, as you mentioned earlier, and it's so simple. However, we're destroying ourselves. And then what I'm learning and what you've learned and what a lot of people that are watching have learned is the road back from a dis-ease state is very difficult. So one of the things
It's easier to do this. It's
yeah,
easier to prevent than deal with being sick, because when you get that call, you can't turn back the hands of time. At that point, it's too late. You've got quite a battle ahead of you.
yeah.
And loss is profound. We lose loved ones all the time. And it's not necessary to lose them from an advanced cancer. Um,
Yeah.
we need to change up things and not wait for people to tell us, you know, we can't trust manufacturers to do the right thing.
How
There's
do
too
we
much money involved.
know? What are like for the beginner who's trying to detox their home and like really hears what you're saying and is resonating with all of this? What are some of the things that they can look for that they can remember?
Definitely deal with your toothpaste.
First,
Deal with if you wear deodorant,
deodorant.
it should be all natural. It should not have aluminum chlorhydrate in it. They
Okay.
find that people with brain diseases like Alzheimer's have tremendous amounts of aluminum in their body. I don't use aluminum foil to cook anymore because it gives off noxious fumes that are actually not healthy. You have to line it with parchment paper if you need to use it, but I don't. And a lot of the things that we thought, I mean, I grew up with my dad barbecuing and wrapping up baked potatoes and corn on the cob and stuff like that, and we were all eating it. But that generation, he has Parkinson's, and a lot of their friends have dementia. Right. So, and that's actually not normal. It's not something that comes with age. It comes with environmental exposure. So, we have to think about all that. I would say don't use your microwave oven anymore. I would say turn off your Wi-Fi at night. Mm-hmm. I installed an on-off switch next to my bed. And the last thing I do is turn off the Wi-Fi, and all night I can sleep without those electromagnetic fields buzzing around my head, discombobulating my natural energy field, which is in perfect harmony with the Earth's energy field. So, listen, these are all suggestions. You may think it's not for you. And this is a very personal journey. I'm just sharing what seems to work for me. The food in my house is always organic. And I realize that organic can be more expensive, though it's readily available at Costco and Walmart. But I would rather have an organic chicken once a week, and the rest of the week, eat vegetarian, rice and beans, and stuff like that.
Because we started with candles and stuff. I must know, because I have a lot of friends.
Don't use anything that has long-lasting smells. I see these commercials. I don't want to name names unless you give me permission to, but they show them spraying the carpet, spraying the couches right next to the family dog, and they're saying this cleans the air, it clears the air. That's BS. It's full of phthalates, which mask the air. And, the more you expose yourself to products that have smells to them, you're asking for a lot of problems, including bladder cancer. When I'm in a car, like a Uber or something, and they've got that pine thing hanging from the rearview mirror, I ask them to put it in their glove compartment. I can't even smell it. It's so horrible. Once you detox yourself, you won't be able to use things like candles like that, or plug in room deodorizers or sprays for your furniture. You won't be able to put those things in your laundry that is supposed to make, your laundry smell like springtime. It's all carcinogens and toxins. It's eroding your immune system. It's aiding and abetting in your getting ill. Mm-hmm. And so, those are the things that even perfume. Now I use an organic.
Can you use essential
oil?
Is it okay? And what about essential oils in a diffuser? Is that okay?
Yes, I do that too.
Okay.
And you can get those organic as well. And then around you, what are you cleaning with? We have bottles, the plastic bottles that were once, with seventh generation stuff, which is eco-friendly.
Okay.
But we'll stretch it and then fill it with white vinegar, white vinegar and peppermint oil, which is an antibacterial, or alcohol with peppermint essential oil, or you can do lemon and water and
tea tree oil. Does tea tree oil work? It has a
tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is a antibacterial too. That's good, and also baking soda it can be your like scrubbing thing. You mix it with a little bit of water, and lemon juice is very good too. You know, white vinegar will clean all of your surfaces that right now you may be using a window cleaner for, that's blue and has a very strong smell. And it's so much cheaper that what you may, for the time being, pay a little extra for in food, you can reduce your expenses by not buying all of this stuff. Now, I have a dishwasher that's always telling me to refill the glass rinse. And it was frustrating to me because if I found a glass rinse that was eco-friendly, it was also in plastic. Or if it wasn't eco-friendly, then it might have been in a box. But it was really a conundrum to me. Somebody said to me, you know, don't buy it anymore. Just fill it with white vinegar. That will clean your glasses just as good as anything else, if not better. So as soon as I finish the last of my glass cleanser, I'm going to just switch to organic distilled white vinegar, which is so useful for so many things.
That's great. You can cook with it too, right?
Yes.
So that's, you can ingest it, then maybe that's sort of the level, the barometer of
Totally. You should be able to eat anything and not have it poison you.
That's good.
And you may not like the taste, but you should be able to. So, and it not cause you harm. I mean, it's not designed to be food, but it should not cause you harm. You shouldn't have to call poison control.
Yeah, that's good. This is amazing. First of all, I can't believe that we were just talking about ants. This is what I love you so much. Because you and I went on a whole thing about ants, because I love, and I genuinely love ants. I just love them. Because I also won't anything.
I'm with you. And you know, it puts you, it connects you to the natural world, you know, to be mindful that these are living creatures that have a very sophisticated civilization, and not just dismiss them because you're bigger, that you could just kill them or wash them down the sink or, you know, destroy them. It's, these are the ways that we can begin to change culture to become less abusive and more loving. And if we are kind to something as small and vulnerable as an ant, that'll begin to translate into the kindness that we show each other. Because, you know, aggressive acts, you know, are not exclusive to just one thing. It becomes part of our desensitizing and normalizing brutality. And, you know, then we see within our own species how we hate, how we abuse children, how we abuse, you know, anybody that's different or vulnerable. I'm engaged right now in getting past the Violence Against Women bill. That's a bipartisan bill. And I just was asked for a quote. You know, I said, this is another step closer to creating a more female-friendly society.
Yeah.
And until we reach that goal, there is no rest for the weary.
No, you know, I saw a TED talk about, I think it was called The End of Man or The Decline of Man. And it was talking about how the feminine is, the world has become, we've evolved to the place where feminine energy is what can lead us, because we're no longer in the brute strength survival stage of evolution of the human species. We're in this phase now where people are, it's about conversation, it's about thinking, it's about encompassing, it's about being able to multitask in your mind and understand people of different races and cultures and backgrounds and genders and sexuality.
And celebrate it.
That's
We're
what
all different threads in the human experience. And without every single thread, there wouldn't be the fabric of life that we live.
Women as the creators and women as leaders and femininity. Actually, we should say feminine, because it's not, women necessarily. It's that feminine energy that is there. That is
Absolutely.
in both men,
Absolutely.
everyone in between. It's just about tapping into compassion.
Tapping into that. Yes.
Oh,
And you know, I once saw the Dalai Lama speak, and as you know, someone asked the question, you know, will there ever be world peace? And his response was, world peace is not a world without problems. World peace is a world where we agree to solve our problems peacefully.
oh, beautiful. That is amazing. Thank you so much.
And in today's Buddhist, because I read every day Buddhist wisdom, and it said that the Buddhist or the Buddha sees both good things and bad things as positive opportunities. And I always ask myself, why is this being presented to me if it's a bad thing? And how can I benefit from it? How can I learn from it? How can I change and grow through it? So, you know, that's
the best way to live. That's why you look the way you do. Last night, I watched the pilot episode of The Nanny, and I have to tell you, as beautiful as you were then, you are more beautiful now, and you look.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
It's amazing. You're such an inspiration, and I know you have to go, so I could talk to you forever, but I look forward to speaking to you again soon, and I want to thank you so much, Fran, for being here today. It's wonderful.
I so appreciate that, and thank you for asking me on this show and sharing my views on all of these things. And I hope that your viewers embrace the Cancer Schmancer Detox Your Home program. And it's a lifestyle, but it's fun for the whole family to embrace. And you'll see how much better you are and how you learn how to self-care.
Yeah, and you're really helping people take their own health into their own hands, which is such an empowerment.
Which is where it belongs.
Right. Thank you. So for everyone out there watching, you can get more information at cancerschmancer.org. And there's a lot of I mean, there's so much, you guys. So check it out because you will find a wealth of tools to have a better life. So thank you, Fran. I look forward to seeing you soon. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be well. Take care.
Be well.
So long.
Oh, thank you. I think you just press that little button at the top there. That's always the awkward moment. There it is. Oh my gosh, what an amazing conversation with Fran. She is such a spectacular woman. She knows so much about so many things that you all could see. So I just want to recap what we discussed. We really kind of just went deep into detoxing your home and what that entails. Not only detoxing your home, but detoxing your life, detoxing the way you think, detoxing the world in which you live that could cause dis-ease. She talked about the foods you eat, the things you put on your skin, your beauty products, the home environment in which you live, and the thoughts that go into your head. As we discussed, health is a multi-dimensional, taking care of your health is a multi-dimensional endeavor, and it's doable. I want you all to know that it's possible to have wonderful health, and you just put a little effort. You have to have these conversations. I hope that today helped you learn a little bit about some of these topics. And yeah, I think that was first of all, I'm just blown away that the nanny and I were discussing ants and our love for ants, but that says a lot. Okay, so I want to thank you all for being here today, and I hope you learned something on your own personal journey to wellness. Next week on Carrie Ann Conversations, which is February 17th, which is 3 days after Valentine's Day, I will be talking about getting your mind, spirit, and career, similar to what we were talking about with Fran today. We want to get it all in sync to help you achieve better overall wellness. And this is going to be a conversation with a man who helped develop WebMD. He's the head coach and head of brand at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I said that word funny yesterday or earlier today. He's head coach and head of brand at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. His name is Jim Curtis, and he has an incredible story. He also dealt with a mystery illness when he was much younger and found his way back. And I think it's really interesting to hear a man's perspective on dealing with invisible illness and what it was like for him. And we will also tap into nutrition because this school is one of the best in the world. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. Stay well and be kind to yourself and have a beautiful day. Thank you all. Take care, guys.